Let me talk to all the control enthusiasts out there. You guys are my tribe. We feel much better when we're in control because we trust ourselves to do things right more than we trust anyone else to do things right. We feel like if we're in control, things are much more likely to go well. And if we're not in control, things feel much less likely to go well. And it doesn't feel worth the risk. In our world, very little feels worth the risk of things not going as well as they could. Our enthusiasm for control makes total sense to us, but it can come across as a little narcissistic because it really is that we think either that we're going to do the thing better than anybody else, or that we're going to be sure to get the thing done and nobody else is trustworthy enough to get the thing done. But our control enthusiasm, of course, is not actually because we think we're so great. It's because we're scared to let anyone else be in charge. We have trust issues. We're anxious folk. For us, it feels like everything is high stakes and we desperately need everything to go right all the time because that's how we feel safe and secure. We are so enthusiastic about control because that's what makes us feel safe. That's an important piece of information, and we're going to come back to it in a minute. Being a control enthusiast takes a lot of energy and a lot of vigilance. We have to be looking around all the time, making sure that we're in control and making sure that everything is going the way that we think it should. When things aren't going the way that we think it should, we feel really not good about it. We feel that if things aren't going the right way, they're going to be a total disaster. Those are kind of the two options that we have in our brain. It's either going to go right or it's a total disaster. And that's why it's so important for us to be in control. It's a pain being a control enthusiast. And frankly, we're a pain. Other people do not love feeling controlled. I know that my control enthusiasm does not endear me to other people. It also doesn't actually help me. I can see this. I can see that it's not worth it, but that doesn't mean that I can just stop doing it. I've been working on recovery for years and have definitely made significant progress. I still feel that need to be in control, for sure, but I can sometimes step aside. I can go with the flow more. It's usually not comfortable, but I can see that it's more helpful. So if you want to work on toning down your control enthusiasm, work on trusting that things will generally be okay, even if they don't go exactly as they would have if you were in charge. You have to trust that okay is good enough in most cases. Anxious folk don't tend to do trust. That's not a comfortable space for us. So this is a big ask. It might be helpful to start by gathering evidence. Start noticing when you're not the one in charge and things don't go disastrously. Start noticing when things go okay, even though you're not the one in control. Our brains need that help seeing that life is safe, even when we're not in control of every little thing. There's lots of reasons that life might not feel safe when we're not in control. For many of us, it has to do with our childhoods. We learned when we were kids that if we did certain things certain ways, life felt a little bit easier, a little bit safer. It felt like because of what we did or didn't do, our parents maybe weren't angry or violent, or people accepted us or were kinder to us. In these cases, control felt necessary for survival. That's true for a lot of kids. As adults, though, we're generally not in the same position. Generally, we can afford to go with the flow more because we have the power to remove ourselves from unsafe situations. We have the autonomy to not be around unsafe people. We don't actually have to rely on that kind of control that we relied on when we were kids. It might be helpful to remind yourself of this. Remind yourself that you are safe, even if the school event didn't go smoothly or only a few people showed up. It's okay. Even if it's not ideal, it's not actually dangerous. Our anxious brains really need to hear this distinction. The next thing my brain would say is, yeah, but if I can make it ideal, it would be so much better. That makes sense to a control enthusiast. But here's the thing. As much as we try, we simply cannot make everything ideal. We cannot control every situation. And when we do control things, like I said, we're using a lot of energy and we're potentially compromising relationships. It comes with a cost, and the result is often not worth it. Especially because we've been safe all along. We don't need to be doing any of that to actually be safe. So if you want to work on reducing your enthusiasm for control, start noticing that you're already safe. Notice that things are okay when you're not in control, and notice what it costs you to be in control. You'll usually see that the costs aren't worth the benefits. Also, work on reducing your anxiety in general. I've got lots of videos on managing your feelings and managing anxiety specifically. Your goal is to be willing to go with the flow. You don't have to be comfortable with it or good at it, but work on being willing and allowing it to happen. I'm still not very good at it, but I can tell you that life is much easier when I step down from my control throne. I mean, not all the time. There are definitely times when I do need to be in some control of the situation, but not all the time. And I can now tell the difference. So right now I'm on a text thread of about 5 or 6 people, and we're planning to get together in a few days. Nobody has set a time or a place, and I am not inherently comfortable with that. But number 1, I realize this is not a high stakes situation. And 2, I now trust that at some point somebody is going to organize us and we actually will get together. It doesn't have to be me. I don't have to be that person, and it will still happen. I've learned that. I just have to be willing to be patient. So if you are a control enthusiast, notice what it's costing you and work on trusting that you don't have to do it. See if you can get curious about what happens when you step down from the control throne, and let it be a process. As I've said, I've been working on it for years, and it's still not second nature, but it's definitely so much better. So start today. What's happening today that you can practice not being in control of? I'm Dr. Suzanne Manser, psychologist and therapist. Follow me for more tips on making your life easier.